And we're back. This is Never Don't Ask with me, John Martin, and we are rating more stations. And this is the one that everyone has been asking for. Or maybe. I recorded the footage and wrote the script for this before I released any of the videos. Maybe nobody's watched any of them, and this will be the one that makes it go viral. Who knows? This is Manors. We're just to the east of Newcastle city centre, in an area that used to be called Manors, until a massive station was built over it, and then motorways were built over everything. So we'll call this Shieldfield, or maybe the worst of the 1960s concrete nightmare that won't go away. Cards on the table. I arrived in Newcastle, a city I've never visited before. Came out to do this station, and it took my mood a long time to recover from the experience. We're on the East Coast Main Line, heading north from Newcastle towards Berwick and Edinburgh. Manors is a small island station, however, it used to be much more. The station opened up with the York, Newcastle and Berwick Railway in 1850, replacing the original 1847 station opened up by the Newcastle and Berwick Railway. In 1887, the East Coast Main Line was widened to 4 tracks and Manors gained 2 extra platforms. In 1909, the Blythe and Tyne Railway line was extended to Newcastle Central Station through Manors and a new station was built. The new station became known as Manors North and the original was Manors East, although they formed one station. At its peak, this was a 9-platform station with 2 islands and 2 side platforms. Platform 1 was a side platform on the through line towards Jesmond. The next island platform consisted of platform 2. Next island consisted of platform 2, which was the other through line towards the Jesmond line. 3, 4 and 5 were bay platforms for terminating services from the Jesmond lines. Platform 6 was on the East Coast Main Line. Platform 7 and 8 were on another island and were the through platforms for the East Coast Main Line. And then platform 9 was another side platform serving the East Coast Main Line. The station became known as Manors in 1969. Under British Rail, the Tyneside electric service was converted to diesel, a move that wasn't popular with locals, as the trains were now slower. This triggered a massive investment to create the Tyne and Wear Metro, and the local lines were transferred to the Metro, with Manors losing most of its platforms, the former Manors North closing in 1978. All that remains now are the former platforms 7 and 8, with a bit of platform 1 is visible. A massive amount of rebuilding has gone into the area, covering up what remains of the station. The station was featured in the film Get Carter with Michael Caine on the long stairs that lead up from Trafalgar Road. However, these stairs have long been hidden as the area has been built, although urban explorers have filmed some of this. There have been a pair of accidents at this station from the Tyne Electric days. The first was on the 3rd of March 1913, where due to a signalman's error, an empty stock train was in a rear-end collision with an electric multiple unit. 49 people were injured. On the 7th of August 1926, a passenger train driven by Motorman, as official title, William Skinner, failed to stop at the station and crashed into a freight train. Having left the previous station, Heaton, only a mile away, it seems odd that Skinner had time to tamper with the controls before leaning out the door behind his cab, where he was hit, killed and knocked out to the train by the impact of a bridge pier hitting him in the back. The train had an automatic protection system that needed the motorman's hand on the control handle. A red handkerchief was looped around the controls and then a white one was tied around this. This allowed Skinner to leave the controls and for the train to keep running. Because of Skinner's normal style of running fast into stations, the guard was only aware too late and the accident happened before he could reach his brake controls. While there were between 150 and 175 passengers on the train, which was running about 35 miles an hour, only 3 were in the front of the 6 coaches and there were only 16 injuries. All that's left now is this small island platform of the station. The downside is 84 metres long and the upside is 82. Network Rail have classed this as an F2 station, which is their lowest ranking for a small station. Marks for services 3 out of 10. At the time of visiting, this station got one train an hour, with a local service from Newcastle Central to Morpeth, though many of these are extended beyond Newcastle to Carlisle. Passenger numbers have been increasing at Manors as more student accommodation is built in the area. 2024 saw the Northumbrian coastline open up, with alternating services calling at Manors. However, I'm using the 23-24 numbers for this, which won't have the new service factored in. It has 35,892 exits and entries, putting it in the bottom 500 station nationally. However, it is an increase of over 5,000% on numbers since the turn of the millennium, and there are 98 and a third passengers using this station each day, and with 214 scheduled services each week, this gives 3.23 passengers per service when the cancelled ferry is behaving herself. The most popular destination for Manors is in fact Durham, with 7.22 journeys per year, followed by Metro Centre, Cramlington, Newcastle, and Morpeth. Marked for onward travel, 2 out of 5. Manors Metro station is less than 2 minutes walk from the main line station and has services to both city centre and towards the coast. Marks for accessibility, 0 out of 10. I was very, very tempted to give this a minus number. As an island platform, you can only access this station by weirdly short footbridge, which isn't exactly great condition, and steps are warped. There's no PA system, there's no dot matrix display. Trains were being cancelled left, right, and centre when I was at Central Station, and there is no way this can be communicated to people at Manors. Leaving the station by the path, you go into a street in the sky between a motorway and a car park. And when you get down, you have to go down multiple flights of stairs, only to find a sign for the station directing you the other way. As if nobody wants to find this station. The signs point the wrong way, and on the Metro map, Manors isn't even marked as an interchange with mainline rail. Station facilities, 1 out of 10. There's some information posters, a bit of covered seating, and a ticket machine. Nothing else. Couldn't see with D-Strip either. Marks for care and character, 2 out of 20. Coming to the station, you can see some people have at least tried to show some love for this station, with various art installations on the fencing. But the station as a whole is decaying. The stairs and the bridge are warped, the poles are rotting, there's a load of rubbish in the abandoned bits of the station, and there's a ventilation pipe on one of the buildings that makes a continual drone to still add to the grimness that it is this station. Marks for nearby things, 0 out of 10. Oh there. I will contemplate comparing this place to Ardwick Station. And while at Ardwick I felt I had the possibility of being stabbed, here I felt the air pollution from the nearby motorway actively shortening my life. This whole area needs to serve as a warning to the 1950s and 60s dreams of urban motorways of brutalism that should never be repeated. Nothing more exemplifies this truly hideous car park that sits next to the station. To top it off, this monstrosity actively labelled itself as a car park, as if any other type of building would allow it to be that ugly. The city centre is close by, however it is linked by the aforementioned street in the sky that also connects to the car park. It seems this elongated bridge was designed so that people were able to experience the thrill of the motorway as much as possible, by which I assume they mean exhaust fumes and tar particulates. There are bits of the University of Northumbria around here as well, and some weird rock sculpture by the metro station. But we can't even get to the get car to stairs, so this is a 0. So overall, if you've been counting, this got 7 marks, putting it at 11%. So I went here, so you don't have to. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Make the algorithm do its thing. And I'll see you again for more of this from another station somewhere elsewhere in the country. Thank you.